Hi, I'm Photo Junkie from photoshopbus.co.uk. I want to quickly show you how you can um, put your own keyboard shortcuts into Photoshop and also some menu options as well. So the first thing I want to show you is how to load your own sets or presets of keyboard shortcuts. So they will come as these files, which are KYS files, and these are basically sets of keyboard shortcuts. Now if you want to put them into Photoshop, so you can have the option of choosing them in your keyboard shortcuts options box, then you need to go to your app data, roaming Adobe Photoshop CS6 presets keyboard shortcuts. In here under presets you've also got menu customizations, so if you change any of the options there they will go there. Keyboard shortcuts, I'm going to grab these two, so they're called basic first time shortcuts, and I'm going to drop them in and minimize that and then open up Photoshop CS6. Okay, now to get to your menu options, you go to the edit menu and you've got keyboard shortcuts and menu. We're just going to do keyboard shortcuts and you'll see that menu sits in this box as well. Let's start with menus. Underneath set is where you will choose any sets loaded into your app data menu, which I showed you just a moment ago. We're just going to leave it on Photoshop defaults, no save. You can save sets once finished by using these buttons here, and you can chuck away using the bin. Okay, so for menus, let's just leave it on for panel menus. I think application menus. Now your application menus are along the top here: file, edit, image layer, type, select, filter, 3D, view, window, help. And your panel menus are things like your property panel, your channels, layers, paths, styles, 3D, all these that you get from your window menu. Okay, so let's leave it on application menus. I'll show you an example. If we twirl open file, so there's this menu here, you see the first one here we've got is new. So we can assign a color to that. We can go, let's assign a red. Click OK. Now we'll do file. You'll see, well, it's actually pink. It's actually assigned it to this, to the new document option. Let's take that away. You can also toggle the visibility on and off, so we'll turn it off. Click OK. Go to file. We've now got no new document. Now you're not really going to want to do that for new document, but you can always use the keyboard shortcut Control N, which we're going to get to in a minute. Let's just click OK on that, so we've got that new back. So after you've played with this, then you'll probably want to save the set, and it will get saved into menu customization, like shown at the start of this tip tutorial. So keyboard shortcuts, you want to come to set. You can choose sets which have been loaded into the app data. So there's then basic first time shortcuts, which I loaded in there. We'll just leave it as it is. And you can choose shortcuts for your application menus, which are along the top, as I said. Also for panel menus, which are these properties, layers, etc., via the window menu, like I said, and also tools, which are the ones along the side here. Now, most of these tools have got shortcuts anyway, so I probably wouldn't play about with any of them because you get used to using certain shortcuts, and I'm certainly used to all of the shortcuts for these tool menus. So let's just leave it on application menus and let me show you an example. Let's do filter and let's come down to blur. Now I, like most people, probably use Gaussian blur quite a lot. So let's assign a keyboard shortcut. Where it says Gaussian blur, we're just going to click in that row, and then we're just going to choose the keyboard shortcut from the keyboard that we want to assign to that menu filter option. So I'm going to let's do Control P, and let's accept that. Now be aware, and it will show you on most, it hasn't showed on that, but if you use Control P for something else, so probably print, it will take it away from print. You can still get to print via file, print, but you won't be able to do it via the Control P shortcut, because that will now open the Gaussian blur. So if I choose lens blur, and do Control D, you'll see we've got a warning sign here, and it says Control D is already in use and will be removed from select deselect if accepted. Now, I like Control D for deselect, so I won't want to use that for lens blur. In fact, I don't want to assign one. So we can just do delete shortcut, or we could have just done highlighted it and then just deleted it and then clicked off it. So Control P is fine, and we'll just accept that. There's some options here, so you can undo and you can add a shortcut, delete a shortcut, and summarize. Same again, you can save these sets, and then you might want to share these sets. So if you save them, they will turn up in this keyboard shortcuts in your app data, and then you can share them or save them or leave them as they are. So let's click OK, and I'll just open up any document here, and I'll show you that if I press Control P, it now brings up Gaussian blur. Okay, and if I go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, you see it's got the Control P shortcut. And something else I want to show. Oh yes, if you do a load of changes in your keyboard shortcuts and your menus, and you assign a nice workspace, maybe to match them shortcut keyboard shortcuts, then you probably want to save the workspace. So you might create your own workspace to do with video, or to do with image correction, or to do with 3D, and you might assign specific shortcuts to do with 3D. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got print or place or certain filters, because you'll take all the shortcuts away from them and assign them to 3D options, and basically you can save that workspace. I showed you this before by going to new workspace, and it gives you the options of saving the keyboard shortcuts and the menu. So you will check these, so click them yes, give it a name, and then it's saved everything, how your workspace is set up and the keyboard shortcuts. So then if you want to go back to a standard workspace like this, which is just called all palettes, because I've got everything ready to come out here, and it's got just standard keyboard shortcuts that come standard with Photoshop, you can just choose back, and you know that it's going to change your keyboard shortcuts with that workspace. So that's just something to remember. And I think that's about all I want to show you for this. Well, it's more kind of like a tip really than a tutorial, and hope you've learned something from this and work in Photoshop a bit more easier. Don't forget to visit us at www.photoshopbus.co.uk for a lot more tutorials, competitions, thousands of renders, and yeah, be good to see you there. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.